Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Nick Underhill. You're watching The Dot, presented by Matt Bowers Auto Group. Saints are still kind of in the thick of this coach search, and there's a lot of stuff kind of swirling around out there about different candidates and whatnot, but I really do kind of think that the main candidate still kind of remains probably at the top of my list. I still think Aaron Glenn's probably the guy that has the greatest odds of getting this job. I know Mike McCarthy just got let go or forced his way out of Dallas, and I think he is probably a serious candidate for the Saints. I think he's somebody they're going to talk to, but they haven't yet set up a meeting with him, and I find that kind of interesting. If he was immediately number one on their list, I think that you're racing to go do that. Now, I know that has been read into a little bit about, hey, why didn't they put in a request for him when he was still with Dallas the way Chicago did? I think that was just probably out of respect for the situation and not to really try to get involved with somebody else's head coach. I think you probably just let that situation play out a little bit and then get involved if they decide to let him go. I think that's just kind of out of respect for the process or whatever, trying to do things the right way, which I understand. I don't think that's any indication of what they were or how they felt about Mike McCarthy. But like I said, since he's forced his way out of there, it isn't like they immediately race to schedule an interview. I think that's probably going to happen soon. It could be happening right now as I'm recording this, but it hadn't happened as of yesterday. And I find that kind of interesting that they let that play out. And then Ian Rappaport had a report that said it's expected to happen next week. So it isn't even something where it's like, hey, let's get this done now. Let's get it rolling. That to me kind of says, hey, like maybe he isn't number one on their list, or B, maybe they think that he has a good chance of going to Chicago. Maybe Chicago's his top choice, and they don't want to be part of that until that plays out. So I don't really know. I'm just kind of speculating right here, but I find it kind of interesting that it's played out like that. And I do wonder, does Mike McCarthy, and he's the one that decided to cut off negotiations, does he cut that off if he doesn't already have something in hand? And Chicago was the only place that kind of showed their hand on that situation by requesting him. So I wonder if it's Chicago. Like, I wonder if that's where he's going to end up. I wonder if there's good odds of that kind of playing out that way. Again, not reporting, just speculating right here, but I find that interesting. That's how that's kind of played out so far. So, I think they're still going to keep setting up their interviews. Kellen Moore, Joe Brady, probably talk to him this week, get that rolling. Cliff Kingsbury's still on the list too. So those guys will all get their interviews. I know a lot of the players, they like Rizzy, they like Aaron Glenn. Those are the two guys they know. I mean, it's good to be hearing that people like two of the candidates that are on the list, and that they be open. Specifically, we know how they feel about Rizzy. We saw that for weeks. Specifically, though, there seems to be a handful of guys that really like Aaron Glenn. And some of them had played with him before, and some of the other people, AG's reputation, they've heard it from other people that worked with him. So kind of knowing that people talk about him in that way is, I think, a major positive. So we're going to kind of see how those play out. But I don't know that Mike's number one on the list. I kind of thought he would be. And all indications are that he's on the list and they like him, and I think they'd like to have him. But I don't know that he jumps to the top or ahead. I guess that's the way to put it. I don't know that he jumps ahead of anybody immediately, just kind of based on him now suddenly being available. So we'll see how he factors into that process. I think part of that is it's impossible to rank them because not everybody has met everybody. Some people have met AG, some people have met Joe Brady, some people have met and worked with Mike McCarthy, but not everybody's got that. Not everyone's got that global view of things. So, yeah, I find that kind of interesting how that's playing out. So, we'll see how it goes. The search continues, and I think the panel will keep discussing and talking about people, and come to a consensus sooner than later. I mean, there's only a few more weeks until the playoffs are over, and then by the end of that, I think there should be a firm decision. We'll kind of see how things factor into with the Senior Bowl, if they're meeting anybody there. But I think the list is generally the list, and we'll see how it all plays out. But it's a fascinating time, and this coaching search, I think, is just things are just kind of starting to come into focus a little bit. So we'll keep you updated on it. Keep it locked to NewOrleans.Football.